If you've ever felt weird about selling, like you're being pushy, awkward, or fake, trust me, I get it. I used to feel the exact same way. But the truth is, sales isn't about convincing anyone of anything. It's about showing them that your offer is the best solution to their problem and letting them make the decision. The key is how you frame what you do. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I'm learning to sell without being that sales guy. Let's get right into it. Most beginners who are new to sales talk about the features instead of outcomes. And basically, what I'm saying is anyone who's buying a product is concerned about how it's going to benefit their life. They don't necessarily care about the features, even though they do, but they're more concerned about the outcomes and more concerned about how it's going to benefit them for buying this product. People aren't buying the products, they're buying the better versions of themselves. So, for example, if I start an AI automation agency and I said, hey, I'm going to bring automation to your business, I'm going to do AI automated emails, I'm going to help with a ton of other inbound and outbound calls, I'm going to do a lot of things for your business. That is a feature. People want to care about the outcomes. So, for example, once you get going and you have testimonials, you can use those testimonials to help sell your products or to get people to buy into your products or ideas. If you have a testimonial and other proven ideas that have worked, people and have like a better way that you have helped people in their lives, it's going to really help them. They want something that's going to help them. They want an outcome based solution. In reality, the person who's trying to buy into the product doesn't really care. So if you're the salesperson, you got to figure out how to talk less about yourself and more about how it's going to benefit the consumer. You want to make it as simplistic as possible. So for people who are trying to learn about whatever you're trying to sell, it's very easy for them to understand and it sounds relatable. They're going to buy into something they feel comfortable in buying in. They don't want to buy something that they don't even know what it is. They want to buy something they have a feeling of understanding on. So again, when you're selling something, don't make it too complicated. Make it as simple as possible. Lead with price instead of value. And I'll tell you why. So usually when you're selling a product, there's different price packages, right? You have the cheapest package and maybe the middle package and the most expensive package. You have to test and figure out, hey, should I present the cheapest option first or the most expensive option first? Usually what I have done in my business is I base it off of how the person is. I feel like, hey, I have a ton of money. I'm willing to put it all into doing this. I'll start at the cheapest option. I'll say, hey, here's option one. It's the cheapest, but it's not as good as option two. And this option two is not as good as option three. That's just an example, but that's my personal opinion. That's what I have done. So you really have to be really good at basing what you say off of what the person's saying that you're trying to sell to. Listening to that person, understanding what they're going through and how to help them solve their problem, because the more problems you can solve, the more money you're going to make. You don't want to sound too desperate or overly excited whenever you're selling something. You want to make sure you're talking at a good pace and you want to make sure everything you're saying, like I mentioned earlier, is very simple to understand. Every single type of sales, there's something called objections or problems that the person who's trying to buy your product or you're trying to convince is having, and you have to overcome to convince them to get into your sale. You need to find that pain point, whether it's they're not making enough money or whether there's something else going on in their life. Because normally, if you let them talk and you listen to them, you're going to find out. People always talk about themselves and their life situations. And you, as a salesperson, need to understand that and zip your mouth whenever they're talking and listen to them. And your goal is literally to help them find the best solution. And then if you help them find the best solution, that's how you make money. And again, testimonials, proven concepts work. You have to have some sort of rapport. And if you don't have rapport, work with people who can help you at the beginning, who can give you that. So again, You need to have your solution as the only solution. The other solutions, the other competitors aren't a good solution. Your solution is the best. And as a salesperson, you need to figure out how to prove that yours is the best to that person. And once someone sees the future and says, hey, like this person's giving me value, I see the pathway to success, that's great. That's what you want. You're giving them value in your products and they're giving you money in exchange for that. The next important concept that you guys need to understand if you're trying to sell anything is you need to break your offers down into valuable components. So there are many key features in many sort of products, and you need to describe every single feature that will benefit the person. So again, you need to find out their problems, and then once you find out their problems, you say, hey, this solution right here is going to solve your problem. And then what you can say is, hey, this more expensive solution is going to solve your problems even more. So that's value stacking, bringing more value to them, and that value you get in exchange for money. And you have to make that value feel bigger than the price. If the value feels bigger than the price, you're going to do a ton of sales. So that is super important, because sometimes the most common objection you're going to get is, hey, this costs too much. I don't want to pay this amount. And what you need to say is, hey, what are you going to get out of it? If you put that money in here, what are you going to get out of it? And is that important to you? Is that what you're looking for? You need to put it in perspective for them, because people think of any sort of product or anything like that as a price point. They don't see it as value. So as a salesperson, you have to show them how that value is going to literally change their life. And most like sales guys, like the really sales guys, the ones who are like not personable and are more just trying to sell something, and you can tell when someone's like that. They're just pitching stuff. They have a script and they're just pitching the script. And instead of using that script, you need to ask really good questions that are relatable to the person based off your conversation with them. And then from there, you're going to get good ideas of what you need to present to them and the best option you can present to them. So one venture I'm looking to get into right now, and I have kind of already started, is an AI automated agency. Basically, you give companies and people AI, inbound, outbound callers, automated emails, marketing campaigns, advertising. It's an all-in-one bundle, right? I'm in the process of starting it right now, and I'm actually a licensed real estate agent. So I'm going to most likely start off with the real estate industry because I understand it very, very well, and I understand real estate agents. But I have learned over the last 2 years to get really good at sales, and I have failed over and over again. And from those failures, I learned what works and what doesn't work. So I think for you guys who are looking to start, you need to get really good at sales, because anything you're creating, you have to market it and you have to sell it. So the better you are at marketing and selling, the more money you're going to make. So guys, stop thinking like a salesperson and think like a problem solver. If you're a problem solver and you're trying to solve someone's problems, that's how you make money. If you think like a salesperson, you're just in it for the money, which is not the point of this. The better you understand your market's pain, the easier it is to position your offer. You have to have a very clear understanding of the market and what's going on in the world. If you're building a real estate business or an online brand or a new startup, and you want to learn how to frame better offers, attract more clients, and scale faster using AI and content, definitely subscribe here. I'm going to post a lot more videos on this to help people who are new look to make some money. So if you want me to do a full breakdown of how I'm building my current AI automated offer, I'll make a video on that. So again, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. And I have a lot of new ideas I'm going to post here. So I hope you guys did enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.